Well, everyone, a monster weekend, of course, of racing both in Melbourne and Sydney and Lindsay Park with an enormous hand in both meetings. Ben Hayes joining me to preview an enormous weekend for the stable and 20 runners in total at Caulfield. A massive logistical exercise for the stable, but great to have such a presence on a Group 1 day.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have so many runners. It's a lot of pressure and it's just we're lucky to have that many quality horses.
Fair bit to get through, so let's have a look at it. We'll start off with the English Debutante Stakes. 3 runners in total. Grand challenge for Mark Zara, drawn 9, and Not a Single Doubt Colt, who had a pretty impressive Cranbourne trial back in early September.
He did. He actually was supposed to run last week, but he dropped Mark Zara, and so we've applied the hood, and his work this week's been good, and expecting him to run well.
We head then to Corfilo, which is being ridden by Damien Oliver, drawn 8, and Not a Single Doubt Philly, who was able to beat Nomitage in a Wodonga trial earlier in the year, which obviously now is pretty well-franked form given the way Nomitage was able to run last week.
Yeah, we've always really liked her. All her trials here have been good. Really liked her trial down the straight. She settled behind the pace and she was a little bit green, but she's really come on from that run and expecting her to run well.
The last of the 3 heading off in the first tomorrow is Speedy Kitty and Exceed and Excel Philly, who was back in a Cranbourne trial on September 18, drawn outside for Stephen Baster.
Yeah, she's drawn outside, is very speedy, has nice early speed, so I'd imagine she'll be more up in the pace, but going well as well. It's first start, so it's hard. We'll see how they go after the race.
3 starters in race 2, the Thoroughbred Club Stakes, the Group 3 over 1,200 metres. 1 scratch though at this stage in River Jewel, so down to the 2 runners. Wanted Diva for Luke Nolan draws barrier 9 and chased steadily behind Hootson 6th first up.
Yeah, it was a great run at Moonee Valley. Just hit the line nicely. Drawn a better barrier today, so she'll be able to settle a little bit closer and expect her to improve.
Other runner in the race is Lukeworth for Damien Oliver, which is drawn 19, unfortunately, but was pretty impressive for a 3rd first up here at Flemington in the Captain Teeps. Yeah,
she was fantastic. She was doing her best work late and is 1,200 now. She'll definitely relish that. She's drawn wide, so we just got to ride her quiet, and hopefully she's doing the same thing.
To race 3, the Cape Grim Beef Stakes over 1,200 metres, and 1 runner engaged here, Miss Gunpowder for Dwayne Dunn, drawn barrier 11, comes first up in off a Queensland winter campaign. Last time at this track and distance first up, it was able to win.
She goes well fresh. We're really happy with her. She had a nice time after her runs in Queensland. She had a good spell, so she's come over with a fantastic coat. She's well and she's ready to go. Just the barrier is the only awkward thing.
We head then to race 4, the Ladbrokes Herbert Power Stakes over 2,400 metres. Obviously a time-honoured race for horses on a Cups path in some way, shape or form. 3 runners engaged here. Boom Time for Corey Parrish draws barrier 6, was 3rd in the JRA Cup at Moonee Valley, and won at this track and distance back in April with 2 kilos more. Yeah,
we're really happy with him. He's had quite a few starts this prep now, so he's rock hard fit, and we just expect him to run well. He's going for a Caulfield Cup to hopefully qualify, and I think he will. He'll run really well.
Second of the runners engaged is Harlow Gold, of course, so good in the Oaks here last year. Chris Parnham draws barrier 1, was only 1.5 lengths behind Amelie Starr here a couple of weeks ago. Right now that form's looking pretty good.
Yes, it is. She's been knocking on the door every start. All her runs, she's only been beaten a couple lengths, and she's drawn a good barrier here. She'll be able to settle that little bit closer, and hopefully she runs well, and she's also going for that Caulfield Cup chance to get in, and I think she will. She'll run really well. Good each way chance.
Last of the runners in the Herbert Power is Fanatic, which was 4th in the Benalla Cup last time. Bo Mertens to jump from barrier 4.
Yeah, first time this prep out to 2,400, and I thought her run in the Benalla Cup was good. Her work late was excellent. She hit the line strong, so she'll relish the extra distance and expect an improvement.
Race 5 is the Keno Weekend Hustler Stakes over 1,400 metres. 2 runners engaged in this listed event. The first of them, Dibiani for Corey Parrish, has drawn barrier 13, comes off that first up run here in the Sofitel over 1,400 metres. But remarkable second up stats. Last 3 times second up. Group placings behind Hiraki, Winks and the Cleaner.
We're really happy with him. He probably will need the run again. It's 1,400. Watch him when he gets to a mile.
Other runner engaged is Fast and Rocking for Luke Nolan. Drawn barrier 3, third first up behind Bonds Away and Brave Smashing the Testarossa at Caulfield.
Yeah, he was fantastic first up. He was really hitting the line late. We're out to 1,400 metres. We just think as he's gotten older, he's lost his zip. So we're trying him out over 1,400 again, and we'll just ride him quiet, and he'll be doing the same, what he always does, hitting line strong.
We head to the Group 1s at a strong hand in both the Guineas, with Pure Scott kicking things off in the Sweps 1,000 Guineas for the fillies. Charged home here last week for fourth on the Edward Manifold.
Yeah, she was an excellent run, real eye catcher. We're really happy with her. She's still got a bit of a hairy coat, but we've actually clipped her, and she's looking a little bit better now. But I think the mile will definitely suit her. It's only a small field, so she'll be able to settle closer, and she'll be hitting the line strong. Really think she's a good each way bet.
We head to the Caulfield Guineas, and Catchy, the filly, trying to become the sixth filly to win the race, and the first for Lindsay Park since St Covert back in the mid-90s. Big decision, obviously, to take it against the colts, and a pretty strong group of colts as well, but you're obviously very happy with how it's prepared.
Yeah, we're thrilled with her. She's coats 100% now. She licks the bowl, and every run this prep, I feel she's been looking like she wants a mile. She ran the fastest last 600 last start, and she's beaten the boys every time she's raced against them. So I think she deserves a shot at trying the boys. It's bigger money, and she's already a Group 1 winner, so we've got nothing to lose.
Mark Zara to take the ride and jump from barrier 3 there. We head to a 6-runner hand in the Toorak Handicap. Great to see big Caulfield Mile and a big group of horses as well. And you've got a great spread across the weights as well. Up the top end with 55 kilos is Seabird for Mark Zara. Drawn 12, was last in the Memsey and the Maccabi Diva, but if it can drill down into its best form, it has to be some sort of chance.
Well, this time last year, he ran the best race of his life. He came second in the Guineas. We've changed his training a little bit. We've been training him out of the paddock, so hopefully just changing his environment, he might wake up a bit and put up a good run, because we know if he runs to his best, he's definitely up to this class.
Second of the runners engaged is He or She for Dwayne Dunn. Drawn barrier 18, third up, third to Winks in the Caulfield Stakes this day last year.
Yeah, the barrier's awkward, but we'll just ride him really quiet from the barrier. It's probably the first race he's been in that it's actually suitable and at his distance, but we'll ride him quiet, and hopefully he's flashing home.
Third of the runners is Snitson for Corey Parrish. Drawn barrier 10, two 1,600 metre runs for a third in the Australian Guineas here at Flemington earlier the year, and of course a cracking third behind Happy Clapper in the Epsom a fortnight ago.
Yeah, we're really happy with him. His third in the Epsom was fantastic. Was hitting the line strong with that lightweight. His work in between, he's really come on, and we're thrilled with him, and he'll just settle nicely for Corey and hopefully get Corey's first Group 1.
Sovereign Nation, Bo Mertens draws barrier 17, fourth in the Rupert Clark, fourth at this track and distance in the Guineas 2 years ago.
Yes, he's going really well. We couldn't be happy with him. His work at home suggests he's got to run the mile out really well, and if he reproduces his run in the Rupert Clark, he'll be right in the finish. He's a slow starter, so he'll be settling back and doing his best work late.
We head to Petrology for Chris Parnham, drawn barrier 13, 10th start since April, close for 8th last start, clearly fit.
Yeah, he's very fit. I think he deserves his shot at this grade. He's been rocketing at home every start and just quite not getting there. But we'll ride him like we always do, dead quiet and hitting a line strong. And
the last in this monstrous hand in the Toorak Handicap is Jackano Bay, third in the same race as Petrology. It's run in the last two Tooraks and finished 7th in both of them, reasonably close up. He's been an excellent run. He's a horse that always draws a wide barrier. But I think for him it's not a bad thing. He loves his galloping room, so he'll just roll forward from that barrier and hopefully can get in. But when he's three wide, he tends to run his best races. So he's got a lightweight. He's just a good each-way chance. Can you split the six of them in any way, shape or form in the Toorak? Oh, it's a hard question. But I'll probably lead towards Snitson. I think his run in the Epsom was excellent. The last of the runners on an enormous day at Caulfield is Shidell in the Scalacci Stakes, and 1,100 metres, Caulfield is its absolute bread and butter. Of course, won the Oakley Plate here earlier in the year, third in the Moir first up. Her run in the Moir was excellent. I think Jo Maria got a bit of white line fever. She went very quick and she held on. So it was a fantastic run. She's got the blinkers on again, and her
I thought the Moy, she nearly got away with it. And track and distance, as you said, good barrier, should be hard to beat.
We head to Sydney and an historic day with, of course, the first running of the $10 million Everest. More on Lindsay Park's hand in that race in a moment. The day starts at Randwick, though, with Foundation in the St Ledger, a new race over 2,600 metres at set weights and penalties. He comes off 3 straight Moonee Valley runs over the 2040.
Yeah, we're really happy with him. He was very unlucky a couple starts back, and last start it was a big leader's bias, and they went really slow in front, and he couldn't make any ground. He's out a little bit further in distance now, and he's drawn a good barrier. He looks like a stayer, so hopefully he gets a good run and he can hit the line strong. It's a fantastic race, $500,000.
We head then to the Sydney Stakes over 1,200 metres, which is effectively the consolation for the runners not going around in the Everest. A listed race at weight for age, and you've got Darren engaged, Regan Bayliss. Gate not helped in barrier 18, but his last 4 starts have been at Group 1 level. He jumped awkwardly in the Moya, but he did win the Arrowfield at this track and distance back in the autumn.
Yes, he's won track and distance, and last start we were a little bit critical of Mark Zara's ride. We thought he creeped early, which took his brilliance away at the end. So from the barrier 18, we just got to ride him dead cold and hopefully hitting line strong and winning. He's won at the track, so fingers crossed.
We now head to the Everest, and a wonderful hand in such an historic race, as we said. 3 runners in total. Vega Magic, the first of them for Craig Williams, having drawn barrier 10. 3 starts for the stable, all wins. 2 of them at Group 1 level, of course, in the Goodwood and the Memsey. Where does he sit from the draw?
As you said, he's undefeated for us, so he's a great horse to have in training. He's won 2 Group 1s and a listed race, and that barrier, it's initially disappointed, but thinking about it, all his bad runs, he's actually been tucked up on the inside and not been able to get into a stride. And he's a huge horse, has a big stride, so I think barrier 10's a bonus for us. He'll be able to just sit wide, hopefully get cover, and he'll get into a stride and he'll be hard to beat.
The Newmarket winner, Red Kirk Warrior, for Regan Bayliss, draws barrier 3, won the Bobby Lewis here, and obviously worked very well in Sydney, where you were earlier in the course of the week. It's 2 runs at Randwick through the autumn. Probably can put a pen through them, given they were both on heavy tracks, though.
Yeah, definitely put a pen through him. He just didn't handle the heavy 10s at Randwick. We only ran him in the Bobby Lewis to show his credentials for the race, and he was fantastic down the straight. And I actually wish the race was down the straight. We'd be supremely confident if it was. And but he's definitely a great chance. He's got a hard track this time, so there could be a big form turnaround at the track.
Last of the runners in the Everest for the stable is Tulip, the 3-year-old filly, 1 of 3 engaged in the race for Tim Clark. Drawn barrier 11, 4th in the T-Rose to Elise, obviously heads here for the 1,000 guineas, and you must draw some confidence from its 3rd back in the autumn to She Will Reign. Yeah,
her 3rd back in the autumn to She Will Reign was really good. She was actually pushed out the whole way down the straight, and she would have finished a lot closer if she wasn't. Since then, we were hoping to get her out to a mile, but we had to change plans, and we've kept her fresh and sprinting. And we've actually been working with some of our informed Group 1 horses at home, and she's been holding her own. So I really think she's got a good chance, and she's an X factor in the race. And I think she'll be running a lot better than her odds suggest.
The last of an enormous weekend across the 2 main meetings around Australia is He's Our Rocky, which goes around in the Craven Plate, another race that's had an injection of prize money, $500,000, Group 3, over 2,000 metres. Regan Bayliss, drawn barrier 3, did win the Carbine Club and the Packer Plate at Randwick as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, he has a good record at Randwick. He's been a little bit off the boil this prep, but we've changed his training a little bit, and maybe travelling to Sydney might wake him up, and hopefully he can improve.
An enormous day for the stable, Ben, with the best part of 30 runners across Randwick and Caulfield. Can you give us a best?
I'm going to stick with Shidell in race 10 at Caulfield. Track and distance, blinkers on. Her first up run in the Moy was excellent, and I think she's really come on from it. So we'll go with Shidell.
All the best, and of course we'll be back to preview a monstrous Caulfield Cup Day next week on Lindsay Park's online and social channels.